Bitch, imagine Don Juan and money motherfucking night. What they know about that?
Come
Let me
on,
get
man.
this straight.
It's all right.
For the second time, y'all got jacked by Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Yeah, black guy, wasn't it?
Nah, this was a nigga that did this.
So that's the solution, huh? Label the black people that do things we don't like as something else and voila. Problem is solved. Just like that. Y'all know a Chevy Suburban, a GMC Yukon, and a Cadillac Escalade are all the same SUV, right? You could throw whatever emblem you want on it, name it whatever tickles your fancy, but sitting on top of the different wheels, behind the different grills, and the slightly different builds are all the same part numbers. You can call us whatever tickles your fancy. We may push different wheels, rock different grills, and put different linens over different builds. But we are all the same people. We share many of the same struggles, much of the same trauma, and our ancestry can be traced back to the same parts. We'd all have to sit at the back of that bus, drink from that colored fountain, go around to the back of that establishment to be served. There will be no distinction made between us. Greenwood, Rosewood, Groveland, there will be no distinction made between us. If another group decided to go to war with us right now, there will be no distinction made between us. Was it niggas in that South Carolina church? Or how about that Buffalo grocery store? There is no distinction made between us. But there are many amongst us who believe otherwise. Like someone asked me, stop saying black people, say African Americans or black Americans. I'm sorry. I didn't even know it was black people outside of Americans. I thought black, white, brown, yellow was an American concept. I thought the rest of the world went by their nationalities. But that's my ignorance. We have people who feel like they're in a position to discredit others as real black people because of their celebrity status or because they make money differently than the rest of us. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Rachel Dolezal was the fake black person. But again, excuse my ignorance. Another person commented how some are still questioning whether the Cocktails with Queens panelists are truly our women. And I would say to those people that it's funny because we'll use Vivica as an example because she's the most known. Vivica was black as hell in the 90s. Vivica was black as hell running into them banks as Frankie. Yeah, what's the procedure, Vivica? She was popping in the hood. She played everyone's favorite character in Soul Food. And the successful black women, especially those who were successful in a corporate environment, they loved her portrayal of them as Shantae in Two Can Play That Game. Patrick, am I lying?
Nope.
Patrick, am I lying?
Nope.
But speaking of Vivica, there was a scene in Soul Food that some of you may have missed. Remember when Ahmad had gotten the family together for dinner? And everyone sitting at the table quiet? And I love how the camera panned to each character individually, because you could see it in their body language that none of them really wanted to be there. And when the talking did start, it quickly got around to Cousin Faith screwing Terry's husband, Miles. And Faith, feeling embarrassed and out of place from jump, she got up to begin to leave. And Vivica's character, Max, said, "No, sit." In which Terry responded, "No, let her leave if she wants to." And what did Max say? She said, "Terry, I'm sorry, but she's always running away." And then she looks directly at Faith and says, "You're family, and we're going to deal with this." Now, if that Vivica wasn't black, then she deserves an Academy Award for how she played a black woman in that film. But I bring that scene up because the same applies here. I don't like the way some of us move either. I clearly didn't like the way Vivica and company treated Cube on that platform. I didn't like that these young women were twerking in this black man's restaurant in Dallas. I don't like that Turkey Leg Hut had to implement a dress code because of the way some of our young women were presenting themselves. I don't like the way some of us will do or say anything to go viral. I don't like this growing trend of successful black men going at each other online for clout and views. I don't like the route that some of us took to achieve success. But more than anything, what I do not like is how as soon as someone says something that we disagree with, we separate ourselves from them or them from being one of us. You know that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We are all black and we have to deal with these issues. We all need healing in some shape or form. From what I see, a lot of us desperately need to hear that it's okay for us to be who we are individually. There are too many black people who are uncomfortable in their skin, and that is a problem that needs solving. Far too many of us have these open wounds that we carry out into the world, and we bleed out our disgust, our resentment, or in many cases, our hatred for one another. I started this year off saying any black is black enough, and I'll stand by every word of that. I said it then, I'll say it now. We are a diverse people. We have a presence in everything, and that should be acknowledged. And if said thing is positive, it should be embraced. If you don't like the way a young person in our community carries themselves around you, pull them to the side, put something in their ear. If it's in a general sense, speak out. Make your opposition heard. We're not talking to anyone but ourselves. And since when did black people become uncomfortable speaking amongst one another? When did the barbershops and beauty salons change? When were they not a safe space? That's what this channel is. It's a virtual barbershop. Say what the fuck you gotta say. To me or anyone else. We can disagree on politics, religion, sports, culture, parenting, marriages, etc. You're still a black person to me. A brother or sister who if I seen on the side of the highway and I drove past you, I'm busting a bitch to pull up on you to see if there's anything I can do to help. If you need a ride somewhere, if you need a jump, if you need some damn water. Because there's a we in me. But what we cannot continue to do is ostracize others who look like us because they talk different, they walk different, they date different, or they have an opinion that isn't in line with the majority of us. Oh, they black, but they ain't really black. Nah, Kamala Harris as district attorney, attorney general, or vice president to a president who said you're not black if you don't vote for him is still a black woman. Candace Owens, even with her take on George Floyd, is still a black woman. Larry Elder, even with his take on Trayvon Martin, is still a black man. Tim Scott, even with I just love you, is still a black man. Even though they all have white companions, they are still black people. And we're not going to run from them, nor push them away from us. We're going to deal with this.